You need a queues, you need a room, and the boss is within the room. And you knock the door, you get permission, then he comes, right? But today, this competitive world, that you need to have a communication very straight and on the dots. You cannot waste time. We have seen your office where the office is all transparent and you don't have any queues. Being you are a managing director, the CEO of the company, you're sitting by the side of the directors. What is continue in your office?
Okay, thanks for your question. Now, let's look at the objectives. The reason behind this open office that you've seen. The management of any company, it has to first of all decide what kind of environment they want, what kind of culture they want to drive the business. Now, each organization has its own unique culture. If you walk into a bank, the culture of a bank is such that you have to be precise because you're dealing with money. 1 taka here, if it's misplaced, you have to pay it from your pocket. So you have to have an environment or culture where you have to be very much precision oriented.
Okay.
Right? Now, if you look at us, we don't. We are not a bank.
Right.
We are providing products to our customers, and we said, okay, we stepped back and said, what kind of culture do we want that will drive this company forward, right? And what is our expectation? This culture has to bring in trust, it has to bring in cooperation, it has to make things transparent to everyone, it has to bring in cooperation, not competition between individuals, but cooperation between the individuals, teamwork, which means basically teamwork. Now, if you want to do that, you have to create that environment. And that's exactly what we've done by our open office concept. There's no barrier of anybody talking to me as managing director or to any other company director. There's no barrier of me walking down to anybody's workstation to talk to him, to ask for information, to look into what he's doing. Now, with this, we have broken down all communication barriers. And when you break down communication barriers, you speed up the process of decision making.
Yeah,
Right?
It's very important.
Very important. You break down all sorts of bureaucracy. All right?
No bureaucracy is there.
There is no bureaucracy. And what is bureaucracy is what? It's basically a decision making process. And layers in bureaucracies, they hinder the decision making process. Right? It slows down the whole decision making process. And we said no, we don't want to slow down decision making process. People are responsible for the decisions they make. And our directors are very seldom involved, I would say, with operational decisions, because the decision responsibility is with the operations people. Right? So with that, we can concentrate more on the overall well-being of the organization, more strategic thinking, more the human side of the organization, because on the operation side it's working fine. I have a philosophy or a concept. There's no 100% with human beings. A machine, you work in the garments sector, you know it very well. A machine can give you so many output, so many pieces per hour, or whatever. There's a 100% capacity. Beyond that, no matter what you do, no matter how much you press with the machine is not going to produce beyond that capacity.
Right.
It can produce less depending on the efficiency of the worker, or if there's some repairs to be done. But it won't exceed that 100% capacity. But with human beings, there's no 100%. We never know what we can give. There's no rating on us, on the capacity of human beings to deliver. We can give 1,000%, or we can give even a 50%. It all depends on the environment, on the culture that the person is in. Whether he'll give you the 50%, and if you're happy, fine. Or you can land up with 1,000%, and he's also happy, the company is also happy, because you're getting so much out of him.
So you're concentrating mostly on the environment.
and the culture.
And the culture, both.
This
And the
goes
organization
together.
culture, right.
This goes together.
Okay,
I mean, you
yeah.
can't look,
Yeah,
you
you
can't
can't
isolate one from the
together.
other.
Mhm.
So together, I mean, when you create that environment and when you have that culture of this trust, of openness, and of performance, by the way, it's not just being friendly. You said, "Oh, hello, how are you?" And I'm being just friendly with somebody. It does not mean that, oh, I know the boss, so he's not going to mind if I
Do something else.
do something else, and if I'm not working, as I'm supposed to do, if I'm not producing results. Sorry, that doesn't work also.
Right.
People are performance focused. They know they have to deliver. That is the given. Now, to give that, we have created that environment where people work together to make
And
sure
that's an open concept.
that is the open concept that we have.
So
Everyone
it shocks us, but what we have noticed in your office that, within this kind of office arrangement, you reduce your space. One of the biggest thing what we have noticed, that you don't need big space. You don't need to make a big rooms and wasting some of the places.
You're absolutely right on that. I mean, had this been office done in a traditional way, we would have
Right.
been 2 floors instead of
Absolutely.
the one that we had.
Right.
There are 28 people. We have arrangements for 32 because that's the maximum this room can take. And we are designing our work in a way that we will never exceed this limit, right?
Right.
I mean, we enrich the jobs of people, so the job, it gets better. You get more demanding works to do. With more automation, more efficiency, people want to do more. So we give them more.
Right.
And people don't mind about it. They're more excited about it because that gives them something more productive to do.
How it facilitates your communication process?
Well, it's open, as you can see.
Yes.
People, we don't have to, have meetings, formal meetings, because you want to discuss.
Right.
You just pick up the phone if there's somebody in a corner, or you just walk over and say, "Look, I'm sorry, can you explain this to me?" We just talk, and that is the best and the easiest way to communicate.
And you can always see each other's, and you can have better interactions.
Exactly. Let's not forget we are human beings.
Right.
And
We need to have
human interaction, you cannot replace that with emails or telephones. Easiest way to communicate.
And you can always see each other's, and you can have better interactions.
Exactly. Let's not forget we are human beings.
Right.
And
We need to have
human interaction, you cannot replace that with emails or telephones.
Right.
And the human contact is extremely important.
Absolutely.
To build up trust, to build up openness, to build up friendliness, but at the same time also results.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
So I think this office concept really facilitates.
Like when someone calls from outside the office, so everybody can even know what he's talking about.
Exactly, right.
And whenever someone needs him, so he can also communicate.
Oh yes, I mean quite often, even say my colleague on my right is the finance director. So if he's talking to the bank, and he's giving them some information, which I know is not maybe up to date. So I just say, "Excuse me," I just tap him on his shoulder and say, "Look, Shraddha, tell them this." And he said, "Why?" I said, "Look, this has happened." "Oh, I see." And so he gives them the
Communication is so quick and so straight.
Exactly.
Then everybody can participate in the communication process too.
Also. So it's just, decisions are made very fast. Communication is just like that. You don't have to, go around passing paper, anything. I mean, and I think the best thing is people enjoy working.
And on the other, like for example, if you get a phone call from Chittagong office, like a factory, so someone is speaking over phone, and you know that he is on the line, and if you want to communicate, you can tell him, can you pass the message too?
Exactly. I mean that is quite, not only Chittagong. I mean we have 12
Everywhere.
sales offices throughout the country. So if I know that somebody is talking to say Rangpur, say, "By the way, when you finish, give me the line." Okay.
So he can immediately transfer.
Exactly.
You don't need to bang and then hang over.
Right.
That's okay. I'll get a call. You call waiting for the calls and all.
Exactly.
So you can shorten your time.
Exactly. Or I just walk over to that table and say, "Can I talk to him first?" I just talk and say, "Okay, you go ahead."
It's amazing, right?
It is. You save so much of time, and it is so efficient.
Everything.
The other advantage of this office has been, I feel personally, is we've also cut down a lot on wastage in terms of duplication of efforts, of papers, of stationery. Now, for example, in the past, each room had to buy its own stationery. Now it's done centrally.
Okay.
All right.
Mhm.
So you save so much money on, I mean, I can't even, the feedback I was getting from my colleagues was that we are really saving a lot of money on a lot of wastages, duplications, and then, communication also, when you're talking, as you've seen, our office is on a network. A lot of things are put on
Computers.
computers, is there in the server. You just send a mail to everyone, look, if you're interested in this information, it's available here. Right?
Like even the minors, whenever after the meeting is over, you can just pass it on. You don't need to make photocopies and hand it over to someone else.
Exactly.
It goes to his own computer and he can see this.
Exactly.
And you can save money.
We certainly do.
You save money. Even the person can also, he's comfortable to see. You don't need a big pile of papers.
You might have also noticed throughout the office, we don't have this huge
No, you don't. You don't have that.
piles of files floating around.